What was that?
Perfect. You want to be that guy?
Good morning, DC TV. Good morning, Monday, October 24th. We are Good Morning, David Pelmurder, and everyone else here. We have Don Frun.
What's happening?
And Greg. How's it going, everyone?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Greg's going to lead the show today. We never hear Greg talk.
Oh, Greg is recovering.
Yeah, quite a few people are sick today. Something's going on. I was out. We're just speaking of that before the stream with Greg. There's an upper respiratory illness going on.
Is it not the Rona anymore? They changed it?
This one is unknown upper respiratory virus.
So they didn't want to call it another variant. They just wanted to call it something different.
Yeah, it's unknown at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't.
Rona 20 here in a second.
But it's not strep. It's not Rona. It's not the flu. It's just I'm going to fuck with your insides.
Yeah, so he's hurting. And we have a few others. We went to a pumpkin event with the kiddos, and like 3 other families around this area are in the same situation. They don't want to call it Rona, or they don't say it's Rona, but it's an upper respiratory ailment.
Probably because everyone's so burnt out on the Rona. I bet this is 2021. It'd just be another variant.
Yeah.
Like we got 30 of them now, or whatever they are.
I think it's the same. Isn't it the same virus as SARS? They just named it Rona, and then now it's just a variation of the same type of virus going on.
Yeah, at its core, it's a SARS virus, and then something like that.
Yeah, and Tampa's in Las Vegas in the Litecoin show, so she's having a blast. She says everything she's going to do over there stays in Vegas, so have fun.
Is Litecoin a thing? People still like Litecoin? So
Charlie Lee, the founder, the original founder, he cashed out back in 2018, I think, is when he stepped out. But he still goes to the Litecoin conference. And Litecoin is one of the tokens they've used as where they test things before they deploy onto Bitcoin. Kind of like some of the people called it the crash test dummy of Bitcoin is what Litecoin is. They trial things to make sure nothing crashes, and then they deploy it like Lightning Network and a few other things.
Why does everybody in Iraq use Litecoin? Do you know?
That's a good question. I had not.
I worked at a gym, so I have a lot of friends that do steroids, and they order it online, and you got to pay with Litecoin because Western Union canceled them because there's a whole bunch of scams with Western Union. So now it's Litecoin. You got to pay with Litecoin, and then and then they just ship it, and you hope it doesn't get caught in the mail, I guess.
See,
they've been using Bitcoin or Litecoin for years now.
That was my second purchase, actually. It was Bitcoin, then Litecoin. Way back. Your
second purchase was steroids?
Haven't done that one yet. I mean, look at me. There are no steroids here. So that's been. So do you want to get us into the markets, Don Frun? Kind of like where we're at and everything. That's love to see your energy.
Right now we're pushing up. Like I need us to pull back. What markets does Brad usually go over?
He goes to Yahoo and then looks at overall, where S&P, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, Fiat, SPY. Yeah.
Also commonly known as the S&P.
Yes.
Just kidding. Hang on, let me.
Dude, I learned a lesson that day when you did correlation is not causation. So I keep my mouth whenever you bring shit up like that.
Well, you might find a whole lot of correlation between the S&P and SPY. Well, so the S&P actually opened up green last night. So we opened up green, kind of just sold off, kind of held out in this zone. It pushed up. Personally, I hope it pulls back just today because I am buying the red candles today. So they're up. I think Brad just reads off these numbers to you guys. So 0.5% change. As far as the NASDAQ, 0.1. Again, a little bit of a green open, but that's sold off, trying to recover just magically at these zones. And then we got the Russell. Same thing. So last night, I even talked about this. I was asleep during this. If you actually watched my stream last night, I said, picture perfect. We pulled back to that blue zone and bounced and did that. I was hoping that would be today, not while I was asleep, so I can buy it. But I actually am bullish this, but now I got to Gotta wait for an entry. Bitcoin. You can watch any of our previous streams, know where Bitcoin's at because it's still there. It's still just hanging out at 19,000, just sideways.
Yeah, I'll jump on that little piggy in a second.
What do you guys think? The thing's gonna break up or down?
I'd say that triangle's gotta. There may be a swing failure pattern, which looks like it just happened up there at this little edge down there, where you see it swings above and then drops immediately below. But it seems to be testing it one more time. So the big question is, will it cross above and then test as support, or just flush on down? Is the big question of all. And I have that same similar scenario on my charts. Is exactly that. It's on support still.
Yeah, we're about to find out. It's very interesting to see, and especially if the markets are going to push up. It would be interesting to see the markets push up, because I think they will.
Yes,
I actually am pretty bullish. The market short term, I don't think it's the bottom, but I think bear market rally for sure. It'd be interesting to see the markets rally and not Bitcoin. I wonder if that would create any kind of. I'm sure we'd see more articles like that about how the markets moved up and Bitcoin didn't.
right.
But it'd be interesting to see.
There was an article actually that came out where for the last 40 days, Bitcoin and gold have tracked each other. Of course, that correlation is causation in that scenario. Just kidding.
Bitcoin and gold?
Yeah. Who was it? The guy who did the history of money. I forget his name. He's a gold silver bug also. Not Schiff, another one. But I'll validate that later. I just saw the tweet and kept scrolling.
Oh, did he give like a time frame?
40 days, the last 40 days. So I don't know if you see that, if you're able to see that.
Yeah. See, how do I get this back up?
No, that's.
Oh, there we go. So here's Bitcoin. Here's gold. Let's go with 40 days. We'll give it September. So we'll call that. So we'll just zoom in here. Yeah, no, I'd say
No, it hasn't.
Maybe he's tracking a different gold. Maybe he's got like a
mining or something.
Yeah, maybe his cell phone connection's out. Maybe we should call that guy. Ask him if maybe he's got Sprint still. Sprint went out of business. And things have been moving a little bit differently.
Damn. That was terrible. All right. So let me share Bitcoin gist of where we're at the moment. So overall, on the grand scheme of things, we see it's still tracking down to the. So this is the halving chart on an annual basis, but it's a weekly. But you can see the overall market where we're at. And in terms of time frames, we're still in that bear market period before we enter around November. We should enter the discovery period where it starts settling down and starts defining direction after the fact. So we still have a little bit of time in terms of time frames. On the monthly, it's still at below the 50 moving average and trying to define itself. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to head? On the weekly, we're still on the fib support, just above it. It went up slightly, but we're now retracing down. But we have
what support is that? You said the fib support?
The fib support, yes. Right. So they have these. Oh, let me zoom out. These are the Fibonacci's as they move forward. So you kind of see them use that support and then break down. And
what is that indicator called?
Is called fib moving average.
Fibonacci moving average.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now we're just combining two. It's interesting because typically Fibonacci's are drawn with a leg. So to see them move like that, it looks more like a standard deviation off of just one EMA is what it looks like. That's why I was curious why they called it that.
You know what? Let me get you those numbers. I'll add it to a note.
Because they even move like that. Correct.
So it is this cyan one is the 200 weekly moving average. So we're below it at this moment. So I see this 200 is currently standing at 23,700 more or less. So I would see that as a ceiling to a test to see if we return back to the bullish or we don't. If we use it as resistance, then all bets are off.
So what's the bottom one? Explain to the users what that bottom one is. One that turned red above the yellow line. Bottom indicator.
Oh, here. So this one's the historical volatility moving indicator. So it literally would show whenever we're below the 40 level and it's red, usually it rallies up. Historically, white just shows weakness, where it would the trend, there isn't enough energy or volatility to rise. It usually trends down, and that's what you usually see in this. But I don't follow this one as much. I am looking for it to hit break below, and if it's still red, usually that's an indication that it will rise. But to me, that for that to happen would be a capitulation moment.
What time frame is this chart on?
Weekly.
Weekly. And what's that red line at right now?
It is standing at around
right around 35. I know that line's set at 40.
Yeah, around 40. Yep, 41 is where it's sitting at.
I was trying to see if it was the RSI. It looks identical to the RSI, but the RSI is at 35.
Yes, correct.
Yep. Okay, interesting.
It'll be good conversations too with you. And then, of course, we're seeing the retrace on the 3-day, which closes today at that support level, which is 19,300. If it closes below, then we've got a sell-off going on. So this week's going to be an interesting week, and end of month is next week also.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it of where we're at on these charts. We have Crypto Scout saying the United Kingdom has a new prime minister. Lord Fenrir said that he gets his, I presume, steroids through Bitcoin. At least he's a purist. Yeah?
I will only give you guys the good stuff. You're gonna have to convert that.
Outstanding. Now, did you see what happened in China with Hu Jintao?
Yeah.
Bro, Hu Jintao was the previous guy before Xi Jinping, who's the new leader of China, or has been on leader. But let me show you this. I mean, this was mind-blowing. So this is one of the big meetings for China on, where they define policy and where the Communist Party is going and everything. Of course, this was right before they had a decisive meeting of where policy is going. And usually they push all the reporters and all public view from this meeting right before they go into the meeting. Well, besides the reporters, look what happened. Hu Jintao is this guy here who was the previous president or leader of the Chinese party. And here's the current leader at this moment. Well, you have this scenario where you see, look at his hands. They're trying to lift him off. He's trying to grab the notes, but currently he's like, no. You can go now.
You're telling him to leave? Tell him pack up, kick rocks?
Yeah. So this is right before the Chinese meeting. They gave him.
Hey, hang on. Look at the microphone. I think you're starting to sound muffled or quiet.
Oh, got it.
Okay. It's a very directional mic.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Okay. There we go. So what's going on? They're really just getting him out of here, or is he just not feeling well, so he needs to go?
Well, they say he's not feeling well.
Can you imagine if this happened to Biden? Hey, the camera turned off. Come on. Show's over. Yeah. We got to go.
And this happened live before they pushed all the reporters, and the other guys like ignoring him. He's like, oh, let me out here.
Yeah. There's something up with your mic, bud.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like something's covering it.
Yeah.
So what's the, now I really want to invest in China because they're just getting rid of them?
Yeah. So now, hopefully the audio is back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now,
Weird.
If you go to the national newspapers and look up Ho Jintao, he's gone. He doesn't appear on the records and everything. It's like a purge, bro.
Well, so the guy we just saw do that, purge the internet of Winnie the Pooh. He's pretty good at this stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Which talking to people in China, I guess China was very corrupt. I know we all know or think it is now, but I guess he's coming in and just wiping the slate clean. He's getting rid of these people.
Historical and everything.
Yeah.
And
So.
yet the boom period occurred with the guy being escorted for China. Now it seems they're going to start locking shit down in China in terms of communication. They stopped reporting financials. They start like quite a few changes. And now all of a sudden, one of the few that has opposed the invasion of Taiwan is gone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a sign of things to come.
Let's kick this thing off.
Hell yeah. Well,
land.
watch this. So now some wise guy used the same clip for the future of Twitter. Look at this shit. look.
That's funny.
So that's the current CEO of Twitter. Look, you can ask for help. Yo.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought they were about to carry Elon away.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's hilarious.
The
God, I hope Elon does fire everyone out there. Like, if not that my say matters, I would literally fire everyone at Twitter and hold open interviews. I'm like, I'll let you know if you can get your job back, but everyone's toast. Like, peace out. You guys all suck. This company's going nowhere. We're gonna cut this dead weight now.
Yeah, I think the bots are gone. 75% of the employees is the rumor mill gone.
Yeah.
Like so many.
Me and like one other coder that I brought from Tesla. Like, hey, can you help out for a second? While this echo room over here, like this empty chamber, I find some new employees for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be on what happened next.
I'm curious if he buys it.
Yeah. So, guys, everyone, welcome to the stream. We have Don Fran on the show and Greg and myself, Jaime. So please follow us on Discord if you want to expand on the conversations. Today may be a slower day. Quite a few of our team members are either ill or at conferences. But Don is a true champ. He is here with us, and Greg is sick and yet still with us. So welcome aboard.
I'm trying.
So anything interesting you ran into, Don, on the markets over the weekend? Got any?
No, they're closed over the weekend.
Good.
No, yeah, it's not like crypto. They do close. They close down Friday. They open up Sunday at night. So just a green open. Interesting enough, I just told my chat we were talking about China in here because they're saying Chinese stocks are just taking a crap right now.
Yes.
Which I bet. And if they're pulling out like Baba's at 60, Baba's gonna. I think we're just trying to get that thing delisted at this point.
Correct.
Like it's the whole like. They follow their own rules thing. I'm curious where that goes. If they're going to double down on that, if they're going to release it and play ball.
Yeah, they're letting their market define itself instead of trying to save it. You can clearly tell they're cleansing their political aspect. They're letting all their real estate go to shit. The green.
I thought they were bailing that out. I know we got Evergrande around the corner. We got ghost cities that need people to live in them. But I thought they were trying to bail out the real estate over there.
Yeah, no, they're gonna let
Jack Ma win. They should just let Jack Ma do his thing. Where's he at?
That's it. He's silenced too. It's like there's a purge going on out there. There's a lot of voices disappearing from the open markets. So yeah, locking down on the political side, and let nature take its course. My brother said, just NGS it. I'm like, what the hell is NGS? And it's National Geographic. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? He says, you got to let nature take its course. You want to save that lamb or that little sheep or that little deer that's in the screen, and you see the lion come, you're like, save it. No, you just got to let nature take its course.
Yeah, it always depends on which one you're watching first. She always like, yeah, get that mother. Or if it's like the deer, you've been watching the deer its whole life, and you're like, this thing's just innocent. Here comes this monster. It's like Simba, like when he's a baby lion, just coming to eat it.
Right, or Bambi. We all
Yeah.
deer lovers when we saw Bambi. Turns out the hunter needs to eat.
Yeah. I just smoked that thing too.
Mhm.
The younger they are, the better they taste.
It does when you smoke it too. Venison's pretty good.
I've never had it smoked.
No, it's pretty good. You have quite a few of those. And on the other thing, Greg put up a really interesting note that came out over the weekend.
Mhm.
Here's one of a South Carolina home sold as an NFT out there in South Carolina itself. And there's
So title and all is on there, or how's this working? Or is it just an NFT? What's the utility? Let me just
So-
maybe you just read this article to me and all.
yeah. So the NFT is the title. The NFT is the representation of the title in this transaction. So they put it up for sale in the crypto world, and they had a buyer, and it sold for $175,000.
Can you scroll back up real quick?
Sure.
I'm just gonna take yeah, there we go. I like to remind my real estate team that they're not gonna have jobs soon.
Ooh.
I'm just sending that to them. I'm like one of the only few agents that's like, nah, real estate agents are going away. So I like to just remind them. Some people think I'm crazy. So I'm like, well.
No, it's usually you'll see that because they don't understand. They think NFTs of the pictures, not realizing that non-fungible token is literally a certificate of what is represented. So if there's a work of art, usually they will tie it to an NFT transaction or a minting an NFT. And when they sell it, it's like, hey, I'm selling you this work of art that's tied to this NFT. This is my title. Your royalties, you'll be able to collect royalties if you buy the NFT that represents it. So I will ship you my work of art, and the proof of title of ownership is this NFT down the road in the future. That's why you see it will change the world. They even give you the address, 149 Cottage Lake Way in Columbia. So go ahead.
Do I still get royalties off that? Like every time my house sells, my previous house sells?
That depends on the
smart contract.
Ah, okay.
So
I'm gonna set that up. Like,
I know. Imagine you sold a house 10 years ago, now keep selling and selling, you get 5%.
yeah,
So-
I bet they don't.
Correct.
Why would you do that? Because then I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, no one wants to buy that. It's like buying the mineral rights underneath it, you know?
It would be funny though. Like before this gets popular, just be one of the first few to do that.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Keep
At that
selling.
point.
Sorry, the original owner sold me this. He was a dick. He wants 5% every time this house sells. So now we got to sell it to you.
That's right. No, in this case, it depends on the contract itself. So the purpose of it is either you do it as a royalty, or the NFT is a title or representation of what is going to be sold in the open market.
So is this the first property?
No, I think there were others in California that have been sold.
I know this is their first for this Roofstock company,
Absolutely.
but
yes, sir. So it made quite a splash, and they registered in Wyoming and sold the NFT associated to the LLC. So they created an LLC. This marks the membership token with a verified buyer flag, after which buyers can connect to an NFT marketplace and purchase a home on-chain NFT with a single click, resulting in sale and settlement in this. So it triggers it the moment you buy it. Now, everything that goes on top, usually with real estate, like the legal, the title, all that stuff is built into the NFT. So once it's done, they go out to the attorneys, and you have a normal closing also, because it's also reported to the taxes. So it's a regular transaction, but using an NFT as your title or as a proof of transaction.
because they bought the LLC.
They tied that NFT to an LLC which owned that property.
Right.
When they sold it, yes, exactly.
So you get a house and a company.
Correct. And the tax records and everything will be on that LLC. So now you own that LLC. And in this case, that's a good point. It is for rental. So they bought it as a rental property. So it's almost like you have an LLC already built into this deal that you can pass your expenses through renovations and everything else.
Why would you want that? That would just annoy me.
Well, just sell it to yourself after, or transfer the title over to your private.
But that creates an extra step for me of like just leave
Yeah,
that alone.
it seems like kind of a pain in the ass, right? If I want to buy another property, am I going to have 2 LLCs?
Well,
have like
Because they
100
set
of
it
them.
up this way?
do you have rental properties done
Yeah, and they're all in their own name.
in their own name under
Yep.
an LLC?
Under an LLC, which is under another LLC owned by the LLC that you can't track from the actual owner.
So this is the same mechanism. You attach this LLC into that mother LLC as one of the properties owned. So it saves you that whole transaction or that whole step.
But then people know the LLC name already. Mine are all just random letters and codes. Like that way no one can find that. I can be like Don Franz house. Like there's no like nothing out there. Numbers and letters. It looks like some random internet pass.
That's a good point, actually. But then you could sell from that LLC to your random LLC.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and no one would know that it's the same owner, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, just one extra step.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you're a lazy one, you're like, nah, I'll just attach. I don't give because you're right. Because if you go to the tax records, you can see who the buyer is. But if it's all those random letters, no, unless you know who it is.
Exactly.
There's no way to tell. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Something to think of, you property slumlords and property lords out there.
Yeah, not every state does it. Most states you can look up who owns the LLC. Some states you can actually, an LLC can own the LLC, and then that's that, and you can't track that owner.
Correct.
So 2 steps, two things to Google, and then you can hide all your stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's business out there as it stands.
You gotta leave one property out there though.
Yeah, correct. For your homestead, I presume, is what you're referring to.
You can put them all. You can have whatever. You can hide them all, but I always like to leave one. So if someone does, like, then they find that one, then you know who's looking. Then you get them.
Ah, that's a good. Yeah.
It's because I'm also slightly stupid, so prepared for everything.
Outstanding.
Gotta leave that carrot out there.
Beautiful. All right. So
what other articles we got?
Yeah. Trying to find.
Oh, we're about to ding. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, and market open in 3 minutes.
It's about to. I was going to say, do you want me to exit out of this? You guys want the bell so we can get the halfway mark?
No. Keep the bell up. So let's do a prediction. Let's do an experiment with you, Don. Okay. What do you think is going to happen right at the bell and then a few minutes afterwards?
Hopefully a sell-off, then probably a pump.
So clear some of the shorters, early shorters, you feel?
Maybe. Let me see what we've done so far.
All right.
We've done nothing.
I know, it's just hovering. Bitcoin.
Hopefully it spikes down. I mean, I'm biased. I sold some call spreads. While I am bullish, I sold some call spreads, so I want it to be a little bit lower because that's a bearish play. Mm-hmm. I need this thing. They expire today too, so I need it to just drop. Then I'm gonna close it and buy the dip.
Buy the dip, and you'll go long at the dip.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for your blue zones to hit. So your yellow zones are the sells, the shorts, resistance.
No, time frame. Remember that one time we were going to go over that?
Yes.
Purple zones are weekly. Yellow is like 4-hour and daily zones. Blue would be hourly. So different kind of management involved in each one. So typically, I think it's going to go yellow to yellow. There's you'll see a blue in between. So I'll call those speed bump zones. That's where if it bases out, I'm looking to add on. So that's like management. I'll scoot my stop up. This is where I expect to see some turbulence. I expect to run into something, but hopefully overall continue. But if there's a pivot point, it could be right here. So moving stops up, using those for management, and then add on if it does continue.
Yeah, Lord feels there might be a slight spike followed by a dump. So correlation with your expectation.
Guessing the first 10 minutes of that. So Jake, he's actually one of my admins. So Jake, we're trying to guess what do you think happens right at the bell? Pump, dump, and then pump. Guessing these, if you had any kind of accuracy, if we're talking about that time frame,
come on, Jake, say something.
You could just grab futures contracts and then just nail it. Because there's that first little grab when volume finally gets in, you'll see it pop, and then it won't the first 30 minutes. I'll usually hang out, dump, then pump.
Yeah. So we have Lord on one side, pump then dump, and we have Jake dump then pump.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, dump then pump.
Yeah.
Looks pretty green so far.
No, it's red.
Yeah, Bitcoin is
Oh,
dropping.
never mind. Now it's red.
You gonna show the chart, Don?
Oh, yeah, I can share it.
Where we're at? Yeah.
1 second. I gotta get this off here. So okay, there we go. So this is what we're talking about. Let me get the junk off. Oh, sorry, indicators. So that's what we can probably fade this down a little bit.
Uh-oh. I think he blue screened.
I think so.
Oh no, Don. Don's a goner. All right.
Wah, wah, wah.
Let's pull up a skunk out here and do a share. Meanwhile, he comes back. There we go. Funds ETF.
I'm still gonna blame Brad.
So we have the dollar coming down. Let's look at the SPY. Well, meanwhile, we do this. So Bitcoin's fading. On the 3-day chart, it pumped overnight. And now it's been fading, continuing to fade even after market open. So if this closes by tonight below here, I think we should see it come back down to the support level, which is around 17,000 and change within this week. But all depends if we close below this support level right here. So yeah, there you go. Jake even said, Don's blue screen problems. He just won't let go of that PC, won't he? So we will see where this takes us. Outside of that, I think we are good. Any subjects or any other items? Sorry, guys. Most of our team, it seems like we were not fully prepared to be missing quite a few legs of our team. But please join the conversation. But Don is back. So come on, Don.
Maybe.
Yeah, let's do this.
Every time I share the good stuff, it just drops me.
It's a security measure built into your system.
Those are the real market manipulators. Like this mother giving away the secrets.
Absolutely. So you're gonna fade that thing. Did it crash on you completely?
Yeah, just normal blue screen, then restarts, which I thought I had nailed it down. It's like I've had like Brandon. We were like I was just sharing my screen, and we would just go over every computer error as to why. And I thought it was Discord for a while so I deleted Discord, reinstalled it, and I don't know, maybe it is Chrome. I already have another computer. It's literally sitting right on my desk, and I'm setting it up today. Like, just not even kidding.
All right, beautiful.
Like, it's just annoying that I have to do that. Like, it really pisses me off.
So let's.
So what happened? Did it dump and then it pumped?
It did. So you're already seeing the pump at the moment?
No, it's dumping right now. Okay.
Yeah, we're seeing the fade occur at this very moment. Yeah. So the dump and then pump, which was exactly Jake's call
and my call.
And your call.
What a coincidence.
No wonder you're admin in the community.
Jake's still here?
I think so.
Hopefully he is.
Yeah, look, he even sent you some love.
Yeah, it does. Blue screen problems. Yeah. You guys, this is like my third computer that has blue screen problems, by the way.
It's
not just one computer. No, the reason I have this computer is because the last one did that.
Damn.
And they're all just gaming computers. So it's like an ongoing joke, like just with me and tech. It's just not good. Never gets along. So, like, you know how you usually can't like return computer software. I bought Sony Vegas and editing software, and I called them. I said, this isn't working. You know, usually people will download it, rip it off, then try to return it. So they got into I had to share my computer with them, and they got in and tried to fix the blue screen problem. They couldn't even do it. Even they refunded the software. they refunded me.
Really?
I was like, yeah.
I think Gundy's onto something though.
Too much porn.
Too much porn. Here comes the pump. So
it's coming.
Yeah, a little bit of green candles. If it doesn't confuse my computer, let me just share my screen one more time.
I do have a community service announcement. If you go down,
oh no,
continue blinking so we know you're still here with us.
Okay, I just randomly go sideways. Yeah, just silent. So there was the dump, and then start pumping now.
Ooh, do you think it's? Oh, do you think it's going to be a retest?
Retest of what? This is a 4-hour zone. There's a lot of these candles inside 4 hours. This is around the 5-minute time frame. But you wanted to guess like the morning volatility, just the dump and pump. I play these a lot. So whenever there's a morning push one way, I'll try to buy the dip. This used to be, I've probably made more money doing that with Amazon than I probably have anything. Because Amazon would spike one way. So if it jumped up, I'd grab a put. If it sold off, I'd grab a call. Nice. 10 minutes later, you'd be up $3,000. That was like daily. Like I'm not exaggerating, just daily. And Jake would do it too. Quite a few people like in my group started doing that. That's why we didn't want Amazon to split, because now it's boring and dumb. But it was amazing. We do this all the time. It'd spike up, you just grab the dip on whatever it was, and then just lock it in.
And I guess that's to make up for the lack of volatility in markets overall. These call and puts are kind of like the crypto movement level, percentage moves. If you're using these calls and puts, because of the return on investment, I presume there's a high risk to it. You're leveraging.
Yeah, they'll go to zero, or they're going to go to 0 or 1. That's how they'll expire. They either make money or they don't. Like, not even sarcastic. They will be worthless or they will make money. But it is a contract for 100 shares of that particular underlying. So I get what you're saying as far as volatility goes. And yeah, you can certainly get some weird stuff in the options world. The options world opens things up a lot to, I call it just options gymnastics. You can buy and you can sell. So like right now I'm a seller of options. So I sold to open. So like I pretty much want that candle to be red. I hate the fact that it's green right now. I need that to drop just like to the bottom of that yellow zone.
Now on that subject, I've seen Crown Trading and a few others always use their spot purchases for Bitcoin, leveraging the CME or CBOE puts and options, calls and options as a hedge against it. Do you really come out ahead by doing that type of trade where you do spot and then combine it with options?
Yeah, it's just like collecting rent on a house.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I do it literally all the time, every week. On everything. If I own 100 shares or more of it, just know that I sold an options contract against it. It's what I call free money.
Nice. And it's usually the opposite to what you're doing on the spot side then. Right.
Yeah, so it's a covered call. Like, so you would buy, like if we just bought 100 shares of Tesla right now, you would just go in and sell. I typically do like above a zone. So I would probably sell like the 220s against it. And that would expire this Friday. So someone in there would buy that from me, and I would just get their money. And as long as it stayed below 220, it could go all the way up to 220. And I keep all his money. That's that. And we try again next week. For instance, it's what they did to the AMC people. Kept it sideways. Brought the YouTubers on screen, got them all. Oh, I've never done that before.
No, you just pulled an indicator at the top. If you get rid of it.
Yeah, what the heck is that about?
Yeah.
Get that crap out of here. There we go. I've never actually seen that on TradingView. Somehow I swapped those. That was scary. Me to a real time frame real quick. All right. So AMC went sideways forever right here.
Oh,
that's all they were doing.
I don't know if it's time sensitive for you.
Oh, hang on. I sold the 103 calls on Google for this Friday. Did that last week. They were 297. They're sitting at 250 right now. Google's at 101. Worth holding a bit longer to earnings or close it. It's green. Lock it in. Because you're gonna have Vega spiking that up here in a little bit as we get closer to earnings. And it's gonna, even if Google gets that red candle, still could push that contract up.
Guys, if you want to learn this, please join Don Fran's show. And he actually can show you how to do all this, learn from it, and do your own research also. with it.
Especially if you think AMC was a winner. I know people that are still holding AMC. Blows me away. I'm like, oh man.
Dude.
And the guy's literal reply was, I saw this YouTuber said it's going to go up. I said, well, I'm a YouTuber, and I say it's going down.
Oh
He's
God.
like, yeah, but I already bought it. I'm like, so you're all right, you're stupid then. All right, that's fine. You know, like whatever. Teachers, I didn't call him stupid. I just said, okay, it's not worth the arguing. But yeah, look at that. His average is $20. It's only at 648. Good job. But when you see things go sideways like this, they were selling calls and puts, and everything was just expiring worthless, which means they got to keep all that money. So if you were a hedge fund and you were red in this, and they think the shorts got to cover, it's what everybody kept saying. The shorts need to cover their position. So if they're getting margin called, they got to put money in there. Now you can deposit money or generate money. And so when they started selling calls and puts, that was just everyone else was covering their margin call, which is why they kept it sideways and why they brought the YouTubers on like regular news. Like they thought this was a big movement and everybody was getting involved, and all they were doing was YOLOing stupid options contracts while they were selling it, putting it into their account. And then when they were done with it, they let it go back down.
So volatility is really good for this options overall. If it's
it can. It depends on what you're in, because there's ways to make it good. There's ways to make it work for you. There's ways to screw yourself. Because if something shoots up, like, so I bought AMC actually the day before it took off. Right, it was like 250. So it was right here.
Fear of it.
What's that?
Like, what triggered your buy? What did you see that you brought your attention to AMC before the whole pump?
It was actually one of the few things I was looking at, like fundamentally, and I even told my chat. I said I think AMC is probably a $20 stock, and so I bought some options contracts for December. And I even told him, I said, I'm going to rock this thing out. I'll make this decision in November. And then just the next day, it started to really shoot up.
Holy shit! Good.
And just went for it. So coincidence, probably more coincidence than anything. Just the fact that.
Or were you the one that hired the YouTubers?
What's that?
Were you the one that hired the YouTubers?
No, but so you could have bought shares and you would have went from 250 to what it pushed it.
That's insane.
It must have been because we sold it at 20. Yeah, because I actually didn't make that full ride up. I actually only made it to this zone right here.
Yep.
It must have been this dip. Jake could probably tell me. Because it was right. I didn't think I was in it that long. Maybe I was. It really felt like I sold it the next day. Because I remember telling my chat, like, by the way, I thought this was going to come in December. I said I was going to make this decision in November, but here we are now. Perfect. We don't have to invest in it. So shares, because I remember I sold this zone. So shares, if you bought it at $6 to 18, I guess you tripled your money. I made 50,000 just off of that, and I was just in options contracts, and it wasn't shares, because every options contract that I bought was an options contract for 100 shares. But at the time when I bought, you have to understand delta. So I was buying at the money. And so it was only 50 deltas. So I was actually only controlling 50 shares. But by the time we got to here, I was controlling 100 shares. So they have this spooling up effect like a turbo. That's what shoots them way up. So that's when volatility is in your favor. And then anybody that was short that was feeling it, because when I buy those contracts, someone had to sell it. So I was directly taking money out of that person's account.
Whoa. Bro.
It was a couple days max. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So it had to be. Jake, was it $3 or $5? I thought it was $3.50.
Man, it's great having a team with you that way to keep you.
It's been a while. So you guys can go back. You can just go back to my YouTube streams at this day. I posted on there because I talk about my trades and what I did. So you can go back and see what day it was. Yeah, it was crazy. What's funny is I was taking a huge loss in Amazon at the time. And I looked at my account and I'm green. I'm like, that's wrong. Like, I shouldn't be green right now. And it's because I had no care. I had no concern about AMC. Like, I had no idea it was going to be that.
There it is, $3 to $5.
And I bought the 2.5 call. Yeah, but maybe we were in that longer than a couple days. Anyway, yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah,
I might have just taken a trade and then got back in. I could have sworn it was just one trade and I got out at the $20 mark, because then it jumped to 40. I was like, man, I kind of wish I would have stayed in that.
Yeah, but
because I'd have made
make peace with your calls too.
Yeah, I would have made another house on that. But yeah, so Amazon, like I told you, Amazon at the time was $15,000 a contract, and I'm in a few of those, and
Whoa.
it's going south. My account is very much green at the time. I'm like, what is going on? I reset the app because that's how much I didn't check AMC. I was like, maybe something's not right here. Pulled it up, and then sure enough, AMC's covering it all.
Yeah. He missed Jake missed the AMC, he says.
Paper handed that one and grabbed GME.
Amazing.
I missed. There was from 50 to 60 to $100. It was GME was right around 50 to $60, and I was at Costco, and they had some stupid putters there. And my buddy was like, "Look at these." I'm like, "Stop! I'm trying to look at this real quick," and I'm trying to see if this is really gonna take off or something like that. And it jumped.
Oh my God.
I made like a quick trade. It must have been inside this wick. Gosh, it's been so long. But anyway, it was maybe it's inside here. No, I traded from here to here. Inside this wick, I bought it. It popped up. I put my stop in the green. It tagged out. And then by the time I looked at it again, it was just like the next day was ridiculous. But like I put my phone away. She's like, check these putters out. And he was just thinking, should he get them? I was like, I don't know. We were at Costco. It nothing crazy. But that made me miss a whole entire move on GameStop. I don't chase these at all. I don't actually care for pump and dumps. But if I can catch them at the base or at the bottom, I'll get in. So like I took that one trade, and then that was it. I took another trade on GameStop. It was during the sideways action, but I did exactly what we were talking about, where I just bought 100 shares and then I sold some contracts against it. A few hundred shares and then sold some contracts. And all I did was like, because if I buy it at $40 and I sell the $55 contract, so that's, you would buy that for me because you think it's going to go to the moon. You believe that YouTuber, you think it's going to the moon. So you bought the out of the money contract for $55. That's saying you're going to buy 100 shares from me at $55, which is really cool if it's $110 a share.
Mm-hmm.
But if it stays at 55 or below, it's actually cheaper for you to go to the market and buy it than exercise your contract with me and give me $55 per share. So how I win is I would buy it at 40, sell the 55s. This is an example.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it shoots up to 100, what's that?
So you spot buy at 40 and sell the 55
calls?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you work that?
I would buy the shares. I'd buy 100 shares at $40. And then I would go to the options chain and sell the 55 strike.
Beautiful.
So I still own the share. If it pushes to 50 and that option expires worthless, I'm positive on my shares from 40 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to keep all your money because it expired worthless. It was a coupon that just you never used. And then we can try it again next week. And I just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. But if it shoots to 100, now I've kind of left some money on the table. So that's the other side of this is it shoots to 100. I will still have my shares at 40. I sold them to you at 55, but the chart says they're at $100. So it's still a win-win situation for me. I just didn't win the 40 to the 100.
Correct. But that's a great hedge. So you are collecting despite the direction of the market when you have those two transactions on the line, the spot versus options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just you'll be in management mode when something does take it. So when volatility kicks up and it sends that thing on a run, that'll be what makes or breaks that transaction. It's either going to end right there or your shares are down.
Got it.
So
Beautiful.
if I have one regret about my whole trading career is that I started this sooner. Because I actually told everybody options were a scam in the beginning. Like I never looked into it because everyone would say, Don, you got to look into it. You spend less and you make more, which sounds exactly like a pyramid scheme. Like I've been invited to Starbucks so many times to hear that exact same conversation. I'm like, yeah, I bet. Tell me all about it. So I just instantly like pushed it off for years. Then I finally just looked into it. I was like, damn it. These guys are right. And I should have just been doing this in my investment account the whole time. Like
that's the value of community, by the way.
What's that?
The value of community. The fact that your community members are telling you one way, they just got to break you down until you do your own research. Now that you did it, you're like, all right, guys, let's do it. More money with less money. Come on, let's go. Now everyone else is like, okay.
It definitely attracts a whole lot of gamblers, though, because the ones you'll see on someone's account, it will be like, just take this GameStop move. they bought the GameStop contract. They spent $100. GameStop shoots to 120. So their $100 turns into 12 grand. And then they post on Instagram and tell everybody how they knew it was coming. And contracts like that make it to the social media are the literal odds they probably bought or 1 in 100, because the deltas actually show it off. I don't want to confuse my computer, but if you open up the options chain and go to your deltas, that's a percentage chance of it actually expiring in the money. So these guys are buying like one delta, which is controlling actually just one share, and it'll shoot up right to 100. But that one delta is also a 1% chance it expires in the money. So a ton of YouTubers love to show off these huge gains and huge profits, and when you see those, just tell them to do it again. And show me your next one, because they'll probably show you another one, but you'll see there's a gap in time, and it's probably because they lost 99 trades and then they finally won that one. If you ever play blackjack, there's that
the odds
the poker bet, right? Yeah. Where if it makes, if it's all spades or it lines up, it pays 45 to 1. My sister and I used to go to the casino a lot. She loved that stupid thing, and I told her I will literally pay her if she gives me the money every trade. I will pay her on that payout, because like you think you win big, by the time you get paid, it's this 45 to 1. You think it's huge, and you're never just looking at the math of how many times you lost. You have to win 45. You have to win 1 out of every 45 times just to break even. And it just doesn't pan out that way. So that's where it does. Like if you want to turn your account into a casino, get into the options chain and just start grabbing stupid stuff.
Yeah, I got to be careful with those guys.
You can blow your account anytime. It's worth just learning first before you blow your account.
So now it seems after you did your research and now you're actually executing on these, you came to those ratios that make sense to enter and exit, I presume. So with full eyes open and understanding of the odds is when you make these calls or puts.
Yeah. It's like collecting your own dividend every week.
Got it.
So like there's dividend stocks, and then I just sell my own dividends. So it's like the reason I never sell forward stock, because every Friday I sell contracts on it. I'll look at the expected move, and I'll probably just take another 50 cents on top of that, or maybe $1, and then sell that. And then I take that premium and I just buy more shares. So it just grows itself every week.
Fantastic. Man, it'd be great to do a extremely basic for the viewers, because these options exist both in crypto and in traditional markets. So just so they understand the options out there.
Just come up with some questions.
That would be great.
Yep. All right, we'll come up with it. So I did want to, before we close out the day, I did want to do one community service. Is security precautions for Celsius.
Hang on, I just removed it. Add that back up.
Here we go. So this guy, anyone who went through the Celsius, let me give you a little bit zeitgeist or a little belief system that's in the crypto world is my information should not be out there. It should not be shared by anyone. I have a wallet, which is private. No one should know this is my wallet. Well, here's what happened with Celsius. With the bankruptcy of Celsius, the court system, a typical bankruptcy, if you want to lay a claim against a bankruptcy as one of the creditors or one of the investors in that, so you can get your money back, usually your name, address, and your account number or account would appear in the claim. Well, there was an uproar when Celsius posted every single soul out there that had invested in Celsius before it went bankrupt. And they were like, dude, you're doxing us. You're literally putting our private information out in public, forgetting that, guys, in traditional markets, and if a company goes under, you become a creditor if you want to lay claim to it. Otherwise, you stay quiet. But in this case, every single address with how much they had in the account was listed in a public record by the court system. So this is one of those where you have to keep in mind when you start in the entry. And this guy, Chris Coney, he's very transparent. Like, he is part of the Wise Ratings group, and he himself says, look, I got doxed myself, but this is one thing you always have to keep in mind when you're dealing with traditional finance. And if it ever goes into receivership, this type of information will become public. But what do you do now? Well, there's a couple of options. One, so here's two things that came out: the public declaration of names and linking those names with the blockchain wallet addresses coming out. So that's where he makes this on that front. The first security precaution that all Celsius creditors should take is to be on the hyper alert for social engineering attacks, because now any hacker out there knows your name and what wallet it was. So they could reach out to you and say, hey, we have a new update on your court case. Sign in here and give us your, whatever. That's the social engineering aspect of it. So you have to be very alert at this moment. And they even make this declaration: no one from Celsius or the court is going to contact you directly. So if your name is out there, you had money in Celsius and they reach out to you, highly suspect. Just get rid of it. And then here's another recommendation. It's the second security precaution is to stop using those addresses and generate new ones. So if your funds were in there, stop using that wallet address. Create a brand new one and do not link the two. Do not create a relationship with them until the court system, if you get any out there. So just stay chill, guys. If you're part of one of those big collapses, you have the misfortune of it. At that point, do not accept any direct communications from there. It should be a public declaration. Here's what's happening, and here's what you can do from the court systems, and here's the numbers you reach out to. It's the same thing when they social engineer your credit cards or your banking information. If you're reached out saying you got a problem, you got to resolve it, don't follow through with it. You hang up and then you dial the known number that's listed in your credit card before you start giving any private information out. So I don't know if you guys have ever been through a situation like that.
Yep.
What you did. Any other precautions? I called the last time I got hacked, the cell phone, and it happened coincidentally the day after Thanksgiving. I called the cell phone company. I got a notice saying, hey, your new EIN is working. I'm like, what new EIN? And then everything went over to some other random phone. So I had to call T-Mobile and on hold for about almost an hour until finally I got someone to say, hey, this situation happened. They're like, oh, yeah, it seems it was overlapped. Let me fix that. And I tried to open up an investigation, though. No, go to the store, tell the store, nothing can change on my record unless I physically show up at the store to make that change. So there's a few other things we should be doing. But outside of that, if you're ever in a situation like this, it's to be expected. Like Celsius going under and going into the court system, your information is going to get out there. So now you just have to face it. And your auntie or uncle or grandma that never knew you were into crypto now knows. If they look at your
are they looking into Celsius though? Like they
Yeah. Well, Celsius was supposed to be a bridge from traditional people who didn't want to get into Coinbase or any of those. They would go straight to Celsius with their bank account and say, look, you know what? Let me earn interest. So the mechanism that we're doing is earn interest on stable coins. So people are like, man, the Bank of America is paying me 0.1%. Let me go over here. That's paying me 3% on the US dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how so many jumped into Celsius.
Wasn't staking just getting a little out of hand? Like they're just leveraging that money 10 times over.
Which is unsustainable. I mean, we that understand finance know that is a unsustainable model until it imploded. Yield farming to me was the extreme of that, where they were earning 32%. Like, how the hell do you earn? That's minting money out of thin air. So if it's too good to be true, guys, please, for the love of God, do your research.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the show for today. Don, it's always great having you. Greg, in here. Everyone.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, of course. Next one's Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday.
Hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, at Don Fran Show. Greg and us all through Decentralized TV. And hit join us in Discord to continue the conversation. So let's get going, and we will see you on Wednesday. Have a great one, everyone.
Have a good one.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.